told us about this, kind of like maybe somebody told you, invited you here. And I didn't think much of network marketing at the time. I actually had a mistaken impression of what it was. I thought it was, no disrespect to our senior citizens, I thought it was a bunch of gray-haired old ladies going door to door selling each other soap and brushes. And I said, I don't want any of that. That's not me. At the time, I was about a lot younger. Let me see, I'm 60 now, so that would have been, I can still do basic sums. I was about 45 years old. And I was young and aggressive, and I thought, well, I'm going to put the world on fire, like maybe it's appropriate at that age. But then when I actually got a good look at what this is, what network marketing is, I got really, really excited. I got excited because this is a vehicle for not only making a really, really healthy living, but also to make a difference in the work I do. So the way this works is we only get paid if somebody gets value. In other words, if I find this product and I say, hey, Christa, I've got this great product here. This is our newest product, and it's called Be Lean, and I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm feeling great. And not that she needs to lose any weight, mind you, but suppose she did. And I said, and you know, I think it'd be good for you if you want to try it. And she said, yeah, I'll try it. Where do I get it? I say, well, get it like I do right from the factory. Just ring them up or go on the line, and they'll send it to you. And when they do, tell them I sent you. So she does. She rings them up in Albany and says, I want to get some. They take her money. They ship the stuff to her. They send me a little thank you check for having done that. And that's really neat, because I go to a lot of stores and buy stuff, and I don't get even a well, they do say thank you when they take the money sometimes. But I don't get free products, or I don't get a thank you check or anything like that. That's the end of it. But this company sends me a little thank you check for her purchasing. And if she purchases again next month because she likes the product, I get another thank you check. And this can go on and on and on. She could be purchasing for the next 12 months or 24 or 240. For 10 years she could be purchasing the product, and I get thank you checks every month for her purchase, because they don't have to advertise or stock it or do all the normal wholesale retail stuff. Well, that's pretty cool. As a matter of fact, that's very cool, because people in these meetings, just like this, will stand up and say, you know what, these products are so good, I'll take them the rest of my life. They're that good. And I like that, because in my work I feel like I've made a contribution. I've helped somebody find something they really, really like. But as a business person, I also hear, let me see, every time she orders, I get a thank you check, and she's going to use it the rest of her life. I've got an income the rest of her life. Pretty exciting. You know, instead of just the big stores having an income the rest of her life, I have an income the rest of her life. Pretty cool stuff. And it gets even better, because let's say she tells Jackie about it. And Jackie likes it, and she says, well, Jackie, call the 800 number, and you get it. They handle her money and her products. And Christa gets a thank you check for Jackie's order, and so do I. And I may not even know Jackie at this point, but I'm going to make a point to get to know her, because I want her to have the best possible product experience. So, long story short, what that creates is a different form of income that has transformed our life. We now have income no matter what we're doing, whether we're working, or sleeping, or walking the beaches of the world, or doing charity work, or just doing nothing. We have an income. And that's fundamentally changed our life. Anything you want to share how that worked and life-changing?
Oh, it's been life-changing for me. Absolutely. And one of the things that I love about what we do, one of the things that is so exciting to me, is to open people up to what's possible in their life. You know, we all came here for a reason. We all came here to do something only you could do, only I could do. Nobody can do what I can do. And I firmly believe that everybody came here to do something unique and special in this life. And most people are so busy trying to survive that we don't even think of that. And when I look at people whose kids are in daycare, and they work to keep those kids in daycare, and they never see their children, and it creates this incredible division and dysfunction and just sadness. It's sad to me that we go through life like that. You know, how many people have a job they go to every single day, you know, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 or 7 days a week? How many people are passionate about doing that? I've met a lot. And yet this is our life. This is our life. We don't get another go round here. At least not for this one. So I mean, there's so much more. So if there is a way that we can offer people an opportunity that is going to allow them to create what they want in their life and what they're passionate about and what they really want to do, at the same time make a difference for hundreds of people, every single dollar I make is because somebody's life out there has been changed. That's an amazing thing. And not just changed in one way. You know, my background is as a healthcare practitioner, but I know that health is not just one thing. I mean, physical health is huge, and that is the foundation for quality of life. But there's financial health. There's relationship health. There's making a difference, feeling good health. There's so many different facets of what holistic health truly is. How many of us are at a 10 on all of those places? What if we could offer something to do that? And we can. And that's why I get so excited about this, because that's what it's done for me. And I just want to pass that on to everybody else. And the basis of that for me, when we first got started in this, I also, like Michael, I knew nothing about network marketing. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. I was ashamed of it. I didn't want to talk about it. I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? And I set myself a task to actually learn about it. Because I sat down one day and went, I can't do this. I can't, in all integrity, go out and do this feeling like this. And so I set myself a task to learn everything I could about network marketing. And the more I learned, the more I went, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Every single person is empowered by this model. The only way any of us can be successful is if all the other people in the team are successful. We have to cooperate, we have to work together, otherwise it doesn't work. And I love that. It's very different to being in competition with somebody else to be successful. It's a complete turnaround. So the basis of where we started, product-wise, I mean there's business-wise, but there's product-wise, is this product here. And I know there's a few people who said they didn't know about it or had never tried it. We've both been drinking this product now for 15 years. And for me, like when I started, I didn't have any huge health challenges. At least I didn't think I did. I mean, I was pretty healthy. I'd lived a healthy life. I knew what to do. I knew what to eat. I knew, you know, all the good stuff. But I tell you, in 15 years, my level of health has gone like that. You know, I look back to where I was 15 years ago. I didn't know that this level of health was possible. Honestly, I just didn't know. And I know every year it gets better than it did the year before. And as we get older, you don't hear that very often, right? I mean, there are things that we want to do. There are things that I want to do. I want quality of life to be able to do that. And so basically what this product does is put back what's missing foundationally in our body. And it puts it back in a way that really works. And there's a lot of supplements on the market. I mean, most people these days know, if I really want to up my level of health, I've got to supplement somehow, some way, because we're not really getting what these bodies really need. If we did, we wouldn't have the health problems we have. And so something is missing. And one of the things that I've seen with this product is that it doesn't matter what the symptomology is. It doesn't matter what's presenting in the body. A to Z doesn't matter. The bottom line is always the same. There are nutritional deficiencies and imbalances at the base of pretty much all of it. So that's basically what this does. It's simple. It's organic aloe vera and seaweed. Pretty simple. There's not much to it. But the impact of this on people's health and people's lives is amazing. And I love it because it's safe. Little children can take it. Elderly people can take it. There's no contraindications with medication with this. I have yet to find any. Unless you're 1 in a million people who have a weird allergy to something, and a lot of people do these days. But I've only in 15 years ever found one person truly allergic to this. And that's, probably thousands of people over that time.
So what happened for me when I started drinking this was pretty remarkable. I was in pretty good health too, always been in good health. But I was one of these people that couldn't get up in the morning, or I could get up, but I wasn't present. I had this fog, brain fog, so you're nodding your heads. And I tried stimulants, and that sort of helped some, but I still wasn't there. And what I noticed was right away when I started taking this, the first day or two, I noticed I was more alert, more alive, I had more energy, and it wasn't like a caffeine energy, this jack you up and drop you down, caffeine jag or sugar jag. It was a good, wholesome, youthful, vibrant energy. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just having a good day. But that evening, I actually had more hours in the evening where I had energy. Because usually, by the time I'd had sugar and coffee all day like this, 2 o'clock crunch, 6 o'clock crunch, the evenings were they were useless. I wasn't good for much. But I had energy into the evening. I went to sleep better, I slept better, and I woke up better, and had another great day. And it kept going like that, and I said, wow, I found something really, really good. Over a longer term, I noticed other things that were important. Number one was my immune system was functioning at top performance. I was one of these people who would get a cold. Actually, I'd get 2 or 3 colds every season. And that had just been the way it was. I knew if there was somebody I saw with a cold, I'd try to avoid them, but I pretty much knew I was going to be sick. And maybe some of you recognize that. In 15 years, I've had 3 colds now. And they haven't laid me out like the people I got them from. So my immune system's operating really, really well. And today that's the name of the game, because there's all these exotic things out there. We haven't had a pandemic in the news lately, but remember what about swine flu and a bird flu and all these things. There's no way to escape those because people are traveling more, and we come into contact with people. So the only thing I know is have a strong immune system. And doctor friends of mine tell me as well that cancer and other diseases, they're caused by weak immune system, or they're proliferate from weak immune system. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, I'm just telling you what I heard. The name of the game is have a strong immune system. It used to take me 14 days to heal from a cut, scab over and be normal skin. It takes 8 days now. That's almost half the time. So I know my immune system's operating at top peak efficiency. Also, my brain is operating at a much higher level. I was 45 at the time, and I would try to remember people's names or where I put the keys. Starting to get a little woozy, absent-minded, bad memory, and I thought, well, I'm just getting older. That's what older people do. Well, no, that's not what happens to older people necessarily. It just means my brain wasn't being fed. I was malnourished in my brain. Once I started using the body balance, I noticed my memory came back really strong, short-term and long-term. Somebody tell me a phone number? Yep, got it. And I could remember it. That's pretty remarkable, to reverse the memory loss. My focus and concentration, my ability to really stick with something, improved dramatically. Before, I'd be reading, not every time, but a lot. I don't know if any of you read, but I'd go down about halfway down a page and have to go back because I forgot what I just read, Well, now I can really focus. I can just stay with things. And at 60, that's a blessing. That's a real gift. So I could go on and on because there's so many other remarkable things that have happened to me, but it's all about the quality of life. I wouldn't be without this stuff. It's that good. And I drink a heap of it. I drink a lot of it because I like the energy. I've got a more active, like Christa, I'm healthier now than I was 10 years ago. And most people don't say that in life. Usually it's, what kind of medication are you on now? And we don't have any of that. Now, hopefully that'll continue. We won't have any dramatic accidents. But for any of you that are interested in investing in your health and actually maybe reversing some things that are going on for you, but actually investing in your health so that your later years are more high quality, this is the thing to do. I highly recommend you use this. Now, one of the really cool things about this is you can use this now for 90 days, 3 months, and if you don't like it, you get all your money back. If you're a new customer, like you haven't tried it, order enough for over 3 months, and at the end of 3 months, don't try this at the local store because they'll laugh at you. You can go in, over 3 months and shop, and then come back with all this and say, I don't like it. They're going to go, forget it, get out of here. But with Life Force, we believe in our products so much that that's the backing we have, and very few people take advantage of that because they just like the products. It's that good. Even better is the business, as I alluded to earlier, the dramatic difference it's made in our life to have a residual income, an income that continues whether we're working or not. And I don't know how any of you are actually, but at my age, if I were employed and lost my job, there's a good chance I wouldn't be employable. Certainly if I was in a senior position, there's a good chance they would replace me with somebody half my age at half the price to work twice as hard, So for those of you that are looking at security, or you want a business that you can involve your children in, or your friends, or even you want legacy. So when Christa and I pass on, the company's going to keep sending those checks. They're not going to stop just because we're not around. They're going to send them to our children or our state or our charities or wherever we direct them. So what we're building here is it's available for you to build an asset, to build a business for yourself that has real value. You can sell your business, you can will it, you can do whatever you want. It's your business. But unlike a normal business, it's not a big capital outlay. If you want to start a hardware store or a franchise or a professional service business, there's huge outlay just before you're a first customer, right? You got to have premise, you got to have licenses, you got to have capital, you've got to have advertising, staff perhaps, inventory, on and on and on and on. Here, just use the products. That's your only outlay. So we'll go more into that later. But we want to talk about our newest product, which is very exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to segue into that. Okay, so we're just about to launch next month a program called Be New. And what I'm so excited about is because this program is going to reach way, way more people than we've been able to reach yet. It's going to target one of the biggest growing issues that people have right now, which is weight management. And it does way more than that, but that's kind of the bottom line. So this program is a weight management program, but why it's different is because it targets the foundation of why that weight imbalance is like that in the first place. So it addresses the cause, not just, oh, I lose weight, I lose weight, then what? It addresses the cause of why it's happening. So the program, very briefly, contains 3 products. And I'll just tell you a little bit about each product, and it's just going to be like a real quick snapshot. So the first product it's in the program is this. It's called Be Pure. It's a cleanse product, because one of the things that is so vital to any addressing of what's going on in the body is we have to detoxify. We have to cleanse. And this is a very efficient, gentle cleanse that not just addresses the GI tract, it also cleanses it's a blood cleanser. It addresses liver toxicity, digestive issues. I mean, it works on a whole multitude of different areas. And that, you only do that for the first week of the program, first week of each month of the program. This one here is a meal replacement, which, you know, most weight loss programs, or a lot of them, have that as part of their program. It's basically a complete meal in a shake that you drink, either once or twice a day, depending on, you know, what you want to do. One of the things that a protein shake does is it stabilizes blood sugar. One of the great things about this is, for most people, protein is quite a difficult thing for your body to break down and metabolize. This contains the enzymes already mixed in with the powder that allows the breakdown to happen really, really efficiently and effectively. So I could say more about that, but really what I want to focus on is this one. This is like the diamond that everything else revolves around, and it's called Be Lean. And it's, among other things, a metabolism booster. It does so much in the body, and this is the piece that really targets that foundation of what's going on in there. So just briefly, some of the key ingredients in there you may be familiar with, things like green coffee bean extract, which is now having huge success in clinical trials by working on stabilization of glucose levels and the blood sugar, glucose, insulin triangle in the body, which is one of the root causes of obesity and of type 2 diabetes and of a lot of other things. We also have other ingredients in there. We've got this, there is a seaweed in there also, and it's a very specific extract that targets the fat that builds up around your organs. This is the fat that's really dangerous. And it's very different to, you know, the stuff that you can get rid of on your thighs and whatever. This fat is what creates all of the problems, because, you know, one of the things we don't think about is when our fat cells start growing, which is what they do when we start putting on weight, our fat cells just get bigger. They grow in as well as out. So it's not just we get fat on the outside. It happens, they grow this way, not just one way, right? And so what happens is there's a type of fat that builds up around the organs and around the belly that creates huge problems. Number one, it stops your organs functioning properly because it basically squashes them. But number two, it causes huge inflammatory response in the body. And it just creates all kinds of health problems. And so what this product does is it targets that. It actually works with the enzymes in the body to break that fat down. There's a protein that's very specific to that process in the body, and that's what that seaweed extract works with. We have, what else? White kidney bean. White kidney bean is also getting a lot of press right now. There's a lot of clinical studies that are being done with white kidney bean because of its action, again, on certain enzymes that break down carbohydrates into the body too quickly to create that glucose spike that happens, that sugar surge into the bloodstream. And so what white kidney bean does is it inhibits that enzyme, so it slows that right down so that the body can actually deal with it in a healthy way. There's dried raspberries and what's called raspberry ketones. And what they do is that they build they build on one of the major hormones in the body that is responsible for the balance of fatty tissue in your body. And the more overweight people are, the less that hormone is working. The white kidney, also, so there's something else in there called African mango, and that works in a similar way on a different hormone called leptin, that also is involved in the whole weight balance and fat issue in the body as well. And there's quite a few other things. So all of these things work together on all these different parts of this picture that creates this imbalance that starts happening in the body. So it works on balancing the hormones. It works also on our mood, because a lot of that is involved in, a lot of that imbalance is involved in depression and feeling low and low energy and all of that kind of thing. So one of the things that we've heard from people who've been on the program that people didn't think about, they didn't expect, was, oh my gosh, I feel so good on this. Like, people just feel so good. And oftentimes when people are on, I mean, I know I have so many friends that have tried diets and they've tried this and they've tried that, and one of the reasons they don't stick with it is because they feel so crappy. I mean, they get tired, they feel grumpy, it's like, it's too hard. But this is a completely different thing. And so what we're so excited about is that we have got something now that can really speak to so many people and change their level of health and give them a quality of life. And, you know, I mean, this stuff, I will take this stuff for the rest of my life. This is my health insurance. This is it. This is what I do every morning when I get up. And I will not stop that. But there's a big group of people out there who are not going to drink seaweed. You know, so how do we get to those people and start impacting their health and their way of life and their quality of life? And this is the way I think we can do it. So I am so excited about it. And if you have any more questions about it, we're going to be hanging around afterwards, so please feel free to come ask.
You know, I've been using the Be Lean product now for about 2 weeks. I've been using this, and I don't have a lot of excess exterior fat to lose. However, what I know is the visceral fat that Christa was talking about, the fat on the organs, that's the deadly stuff. And I've learned a lot. One of the things is that fat is a whole system. It's not just stuff that hangs on the body. It's a living organism. It produces toxins, byproducts. It has a whole metabolic process of its own. And it definitely has affected my mood, my self-esteem, my well-being. And I know I'm getting rid of the fat in my heart, my kidney, my liver, and all this interior fat, that's the unhealthy stuff. I mean, it's one thing to feel like, oh, I don't want to look bad, but it's another thing to know that this stuff's operating 24/7, turning out these waste products the metabolic byproducts of the fat on the organs and reducing the efficiency of the organs. So I can say categorically that I'll use this stuff for probably the rest of my life. We'll see, it's only been 2 weeks, but I'm feeling really good about it, really good.
Can I just share a quick story?
Yeah,
and I know we're out of time, but I was just talking to somebody this morning who is a really close friend of ours and basically the same size as me. And she wasn't going to do this at all. And she said, well, if I'm, I understand how it works and I'm excited about it and I think it's great, but if I'm going to share it with people, I need to know what it feels like. And so she's been doing the program now for, I guess, 3 weeks, something like 4 weeks, something like that. She lives in America, and it was released in America this month, so they've had the product a little bit earlier. And she went to her chiropractor yesterday afternoon, and she said she couldn't see any difference in her. But when she got on the scale, she lost 4 kilos. And her chiropractor, she didn't say anything. And when her chiropractor started working on her body, said, oh my gosh, your body's really different. What have you done? Like you feel so much healthier. She said she was the same size, she measured herself, nothing's changed. She'd lost 4 kilos. And she said, I bet it was that stuff that we were just talking about.
Well, and the Be Lean we've been beta testing it with a group of 100 people now for several months. People from very young to very old, very fit to,
people who don't exercise, who don't eat well,
and
right across the board.
The interesting thing is most of them didn't change their diet and they didn't change their exercise. And we've had people lose 10, 20, 30 kilos.
Yeah,
it's
over quite
really
a few months.
And almost consistently they're losing. I mean, the ones that are thin aren't losing the outside fat, they're losing the weight. So we know it works, we know it's safe, we know it's effective, and even more importantly is we can take this long term. I mean, there are some products out there I might take if I needed to, short term, but I don't know how safe they would be. Christa told you some of the ingredients. One of the wonderful things, I'll just share this, one of the wonderful things about taking this now, Christa mentioned the white kidney bean and the African mango and how they influence the hormones in the body. One of those hormones she mentioned was leptin, and leptin's the signaling hormone between the stomach and the brain. You ever done this? I know I have. Eat a big meal, so stuffed I can't move, and then I scratch and go to the fridge and say, what else is in there? You ever done that? That's the leptin receptors in the brain are not receiving the leptin. The signaling's happening, you're stuffed, stop eating. But the brain is not translating that and going, I'm still hungry. Give me something to eat. Well, the African mango restores that leptin sensitivity so that I now go, you know what, I'm full, thanks. The signaling's working properly again. And I don't know what damaged it in the first place. Maybe it's the modern diet, maybe it's stress, I don't know. But it's so critical to say, yeah, I'm done, and just feel satisfied. So that's just one of the many things.
Okay.
I know we do have some people in the room that want to share their stories. So Jackie, would you be kind enough to introduce them?
So we're done.
Thank you. So I know we've got a real mixture of people in the audience here. Some of you are here to hear about body balance, and some of you are here to hear a little bit more about BU. So there's something here for everyone. I'm really excited about this and what it can do for people, because like Christa said, we've got a different way of reaching people and changing people's lives, and I love the system, how this works, because everybody gets the opportunity to buy factory direct at wholesale and save money and use these incredible products. So because we haven't yet got these, the Be Lean and that sort of thing in our marketplace, we've got some amazing body balance stories to share with you. So first up, I'd like to introduce Sarah, who's a really lovely mum from Nelson, and she's got a lovely story to share about what happened with body balance in her family. So welcome up, Sarah.
Thank you. My name's Sarah, and I'm a mum of 2 children. And our story of body balance began when my daughter was 7 months old, our daughter was 7 months old, and she burst out in chronic eczema all over her body and her face. I looked endlessly for something to help her. I'd gone right back to basic foods, preparing it all myself, thinking we do lead a pretty healthy diet. I make most of our food, and I was trying as many natural remedies as I could because I was not very confident. I didn't want to go down the steroid path with her at such a young age. So I started drinking Body Balance so she could get it from me, and through that I also discovered that I hadn't put a lot of importance on myself. I'd been in hospital twice in 6 months and on antibiotics and a multitude of other things because my health was declining. After 3 months on Body Balance, Matilda's face had reduced. Instead of it being all over her face and her little eyes, just little slits. She had eczema here and around her neck and still all over her body and legs. And then it was just sort of before her first birthday, so it was about this time last year, I started giving it to her directly. After 3 days I was like, no, and I looked at it and I took some photos, and then 9 days later was her birthday and I took more photos, so I actually have it recorded because I thought this is amazing. And in the 9 days the inflammation in her body had dropped incredibly, like it was still there but on her thighs and her legs. Now she's coming up 2. To look at her, you wouldn't guess that she is an eczema baby at all. She has still a little bit on her ankles and tiny little bit on her arms. Her face is clear. The inflammation in her body has dropped completely down. She's not rosy. Like when she was born, my husband nicely called her our little raspberry because she clashed a lot with her pink thing, so we couldn't really dress her in pink. This summer also she's been running around with little strappy dresses, which I didn't think was happening because last year she was completely covered in bows because she would rip her skin apart. I used to have to do her nails every day, file them back. And also, so that's amazing, so our other son is now on it as well, a little boy. This winter they've gone through, they haven't picked up any of the vomity bugs that have gone round. They're just they keep going, which is fantastic. Like, they've just got a lot of energy. And I know that, as a mum, it's quite reassuring to know that those bugs that do go around little kids, that they will be fine. For myself, with my health after 3 months, I suddenly realised I hadn't been sleeping for 3 hours every day, like whether or not the kids wanted to. They had enforced rest time. And so now I can keep up with our kids, which is great, and do lots of fun things, and play on our trampoline, and just be there for our family, which is really good. Like, my energy has gone through the roof. I haven't been ill. I haven't been taking bits and pieces that I was continually looking for to keep my health back to where it should be. So yeah, that's our story.
Thanks, Sarah. And I mean, another neat thing that I'll just add on there is, I came into this knowing very few people in Nelson, and through this, I've met the most amazing people. It's like, Bev, I've known you for a long time now. There's different people that I didn't know, and I have the most amazing relationships with. And, meeting Sarah, I had never met her before or seen her around Nelson, but, she's a big part of my life now, and I get to see her daughter growing up and seeing the progress. And it's really cool because, I get to see her children grow, and I've just seen the huge changes in her, and she's just so absolutely gorgeous. So it's just, that's a real add-on that I really enjoy. So another person I want to invite up now is Christine. Come up and share your story. It's quite different from Sarah's.
Hi, I'm Christine. 13 years ago, I started on the health trail of trying to find out why my energy was so low, going to the doctor, never getting really much support. But I had very low red and white cell counts. And so from that I went into finding how I could get better with natural health, so homeopathy and acupuncture. I've always been a fit person, always thrived on exercise, so I used to go to Kibo over here with Mike, and I used to run on the beach when my daughter was in the pram. So 12 years ago everything was good. 3 years ago I wasn't getting out of bed. I had to go to work, so you get up and you go to work, and people see you every day, and they don't realise that you're not well, and you don't realise how far down you go. So I hit rock bottom. I couldn't walk on the beach. I was in pain from basically here, and the pain went through into my ankles and into my feet. So getting out of bed, at the beginning of the day, you realise that you have to do something. I can't keep going like this. 8 months of insomnia. I would drive to the beach. I would want to walk on the beach. It was too sore. Everything was too sore, and I would just go home. So the best thing is just don't get out of bed, really. So, you know, I think I didn't. But I had just committed to an $800 program with the clinic in town because I had just emotionally and physically crashed. And Jackie walked into my shop, and she said, "How are you?" And normally I go, "I'm fine." But obviously that day I didn't look fine. So we got talking, and she said, "I think that I might have something that would work for you." And she introduced me to Body Balance. Within 2 days, 2 nights, I was sleeping through. I never sleep the whole night. You get up and go to the toilet. But I was sleeping. I was going to bed and I was sleeping. And in 3 years, I can tell you that there has been 5 nights where I've had difficulty sleeping. And I get up and I take an extra portion of Body Balance, take a drink, hold it in my mouth as long as I can, lie down in bed, and then I wake up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been amazing for me. Mm-hmm. My pain, muscle and joint pain has gone. I have a full dislocated shoulder that causes me some grief, but hey, that's all I have, and I can work on that. I had looked at it as being a product that if it worked for me and I believed in it, and I never wanted to get into network marketing, but I am a networker. If something is good, you share that information with your friends and family and people that you touch along the way. And with this product, I have embraced and shared with so many people that have tried it, who love it, whose quality of life, like mine, has improved so much that I'm thankful that I can help my family. I'm thankful that I can help my daughter, and we'll keep taking it for the rest of our lives. But I thought when I started this, I wanted proof to tell people. So I got my bloods taken at the doctor's. I took Body Balance for 3 months and went back, and for the first time in 13 years, I had a totally normal red and white cell count for my bloods, and I just thought, hallelujah. So with that came energy, came love of life, and I run from the airport to Richmond on Monday and back, and on Tuesday night I did a 5K run with the Striders, and it's all about embracing life. I dance, I go to Qigong, I do tap dancing, you know. Am I ever home, darling?
No, no.
So, you know, for me, it's something that I fully embrace. I'm really excited about the new product because the internal fat thing, you know, let's all go there and be as healthy as we can. Okay. So, thank you.
Fantastic. And a lot of the time we think, oh, I wouldn't tell this person about Body Balance because they're probably really healthy and they don't need it. It was the same thing with Christine. I went into the shop and I saw that her mum needed the products. That was more obvious. I didn't realise how much was going on for Christine. And then I heard about her allergies and the pain and all of that. And I thought, my goodness, you know, her story is so much like mine. Yeah, she used to be allergic to so much stuff. So amazing, amazing the changes. And so we've got one more story, and I'll invite up a local businesswoman, another local businesswoman. Liz, will you come up and share your story? Welcome up, Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm a bone therapist and also a health and lifestyle coach. A solo mum with 2 amazing lads, and before I got started on the Body Balance, I was struggling to get out of bed in the morning because I had a lot of anxiety that was keeping me awake at night time because I was worrying, trying to juggle everything. trying to run my business, making sure the boys were taken care of. And the boys were my biggest concern, and we ate quite well. We didn't eat a lot of crap, takeaways and all that sort of stuff. We didn't have a lot of that. So my energy levels were low, so I was like struggling to get out of bed in the morning. I would get to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I would go for cream cakes, quick fix, anything to get me through the day so I can actually get back home, and there wasn't a lot of joy also, I must be really honest, in our family. And I had to admit that I was probably depressed also, which I daren't tell anybody about. I just thought, oh my God, I really was. I was so far down that I didn't realise I wasn't sick. But I realised my body was struggling, and I wasn't a supplement type person either. So I didn't like going to doctors. So when I came across this product, I thought, yeah, I'll give this a go. And it was ever so subtle. It was almost like, I noticed I wasn't actually going for the cakes. I wasn't struggling to get out of bed. I wanted to get out. I wanted to go to work, and I had a new enthusiasm for what I was actually doing. So there was a new vibrancy about me. It was almost like somebody's flipped the switch on, and it's just like this little ever-ready battery was going. I thought, yes, give me some more. And then, that was really great for me. And because I was feeling good, I was a lot better with my boys. There was a lot more joy and a lot more laughter. I had more time for them. And as I said, they're a priority for me. But just very quickly, my eldest son, he's 16 now, and he would have practically every month, second month, really bad tonsillitis. And it got to the stage that he was having about 2.5 weeks off school, and it was getting worse and worse, and it was getting scarier. The pain for him was phenomenal, that he would actually cry like a baby. But, and to wake him, we couldn't wake him at one stage. So the second to last bout that he actually had, we thought it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We thought it was meningitis, so we got him straight into hospital. Thankfully it wasn't. It was just a really bad dose of tonsillitis. So I started pumping him of the body balance, and then we moved, and then he had another bout of it, and then 2 days he was back to school. So I just thought, right. And he knew it was this that actually made the difference. And for a 16-year-old, he goes to the fridge, he gets it himself. I don't have to tell him. He knows the difference it's actually made for him. And I'm just really thankful, because I thought we nearly lost him. So, yeah, and I think the best part of all of this here, because as I said, the financial side and me being self-employed, I know if I walk away from my job, there's no money coming in. So I had to really think about further on down the track, for my livelihood, my retirement, and so that I can keep playing, and I've got the energy, because when I'm 80 or 90, I don't want a Zimmer frame, I want to keep moving, I'm on this for life, and it's pure gold for me. So that comes into my business. So I've got 2 facets, but I support my clients with that, and because I'm a Bowen therapist, it's actually enhancing their bodies. It's bringing their body from here to here. What I do will do so much, but if the body's not working, the two marry together. So, yeah.
Thanks, Liz. And we've got a lot of parents that have body balance in the fridge, and they have to get up really early now because their kids will get up before them and get to the fridge and drink body balance. So their instincts tell them that it's good, and they'll beat their parents to it and guzzle it down. So one other thing that I want to add in as well is that we have this amazing customer program on offer, because as most of you all know, the economy's in a bit of a downturn. Money is, not as easily come by for a lot of people, and the one thing that the company is really aware of is that people may look after their health, but as soon as the car breaks down or some other big unexpected bill comes in, health sort of gets shoved aside and the car or something becomes more of a priority. So they were seeing the pattern of what happens for people, which is understandable. So they thought, how can we create people using the product and never giving it up? And so they've made this amazing customer program where if someone thinks of 3 people that would really benefit from the product and they'd be open to looking at the information, and those 3 people say, yeah, it makes total sense to me, I'll give it a go, you've got your product paid for by the company. All you pay is the shipping. So we've got a lot of people now drinking free Body Balance. It's absolutely amazing. And I mean, as you can see, the product is good. So why would you keep that a secret? I couldn't, you know, if I want to share it with other people, because you see people's lives change. And you only need 3 people. And yours is covered. And then the car can break down or whatever, and you don't have to give up drinking it. Right, so now what I want to do is welcome back up Michael and Christa.
Yeah, that's an awesome program. It's called Got My 3. It's a wonderful program. And this is going to become part of that too. And that's what's exciting.
So, you've heard a bit about the health benefits. One thing I learned from Christa is that a lot of the foundation of a lot of disease is stress. There's environmental stress, there's emotional stress, mental stress. But maybe the one that trumps them all is financial stress. Is that right? You want to say anything?
Absolutely, yeah. It's top of the list. It's the cause of more relationship breakups. It's the cause of more health issues than pretty much anything else. I mean, you know, external things I'm talking about now. So it's huge. It's a huge issue. And it's something that most people don't talk about. It's like, in our society, we don't talk about it. You know, we don't go up to somebody and say, you know, how's your financial situation?
Yeah. How much money did you make
You say,
last
how's
year?
your health?
You know?
But you don't say, how's your financial situation, right?
Right.
It's like, for some reason, it's taboo. Nobody wants to talk about it. But it's real. It's,
Very
I mean,
real.
it's part of life. A big part of life.
It was a big part of our life 15, 20 years ago when we got together. I mentioned we had a substantial amount of consumer debt. We didn't have any way to pay it off. We weren't planning on inheriting money. We didn't play the lotto. There was just nothing out there. And that debt kept getting bigger because if you ever have these credit card things and you look at the statement and you make the minimum payment, you know, in year 2050, you still got a lot of debt, right? So we weren't paying it down. It was getting worse and worse. And this financial stress, it's not the money, it's the lack of money, right? It's not money. Money's not the problem. It's the lack of money that's the problem. Lack of money determined where we lived, what kind of car we drove, and they were some real beater, rat trap cars we had. I mean, they were nasty. Unsafe. Determined what we could eat, because we're both right into organics and health. We had to parse out the money. We had to make sacrifices everywhere, where we could travel. We didn't take vacations. What we could afford. Lack of money basically ran almost every aspect of our life. We couldn't give to the charities that we wanted. So it really hit every area of life. Lack of money. And it's not like we were weird or alone. It was basically everybody we knew had the same problem. And because literally everybody we knew had the same problem, I didn't know a way out. There was no way out. It wasn't like, oh, well, you're rich, tell me how you did it. We didn't know rich people. So it was a bit of a trap. We didn't learn it in school. We weren't learning it from the government, the media. Basically, it was hopeless. And so we decided, you know, well, we got to be in business because that's where people get rich, right, in business. But again, as I said earlier, the cost to get into business is staggering. And to get into business, you have to have all these skills. You have to know about management and accounting and legal and finance, all this stuff just to get in business. And the statistics on businesses are not good. You know, businesses staying vibrant, not very good. So it looked pretty hopeless. And what we found, though, was that this brilliant industry of network marketing has come along just at the right time. let me give you a little bit of a history of this is my version of how the economic history of the world. So, 5,000, 10,000 years ago, it was hunters and gatherers, basically, before cities and towns. You basically ran around and grabbed what you could and moved on. Then about 5,000 years ago, people figured out how to farm, to grow stuff so they could stay in one place and have towns and villages and hamlets. And then about 200 years ago, the Industrial Revolution happened. So it's pretty recent, the rise of cities, factories, power, energy. We could make things. So what happened was wealth before was a fast horse or a big spear or something. And then wealth became the land where you could grow animals or crops. That's where wealth was created. And then in the mid-1800s, wealth was created in these things called factories. So if you want to get rich, you built something, built a factory. That lasted up until about the 1950s, when the service economy came into being, and wealth was made through like computer companies and service companies and the rise of professions, and so people could create wealth with their own energy. And then in the 1970s and 80s was the rise of the knowledge economy. And most of you are familiar with that, where most people make their living either talking or working with their brains, not so much with their hands, although we're in transition. But we're undergoing yet another shift. See, each time that shifted, there were strategies for the winners who prospered, and then there was the rest of us. And it was pretty tough. Because you can't take somebody from a farm and suddenly have them run sophisticated machinery, right? And you can't take somebody that's running a factory machine and suddenly have them program computers. Doesn't translate. And today we're going another shift. All of us have figured out a strategy for the last 30 or 40 years how to make a living. A little side story, my dad, who I love very much and respect, he said, "Oh son, here's what you do. You go to school, you get an education, you go to work for a company, and you work there 40 years, and then they'll retire you. And that's the path to success." Well, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, that made sense. How many of you even think that makes sense today? Right? Forget it. That's not going to happen. So the strategy today is completely different than it was even 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. I'll give you an example. Who can name a company that didn't even exist 10, 12, 15 years ago? Today, virtually, I'd say most of us use it every day. They don't grow anything, they don't make anything, they don't work on anything. As a matter of fact, all they do is give away stuff for free, good, valuable stuff for free, and the owners are, I think, under 40 and they're gazillionaires. Anybody? Facebook, Google, those names familiar? You may not personally use them, but I'm sure you know who they are, what they are. The point is, they didn't even exist. This is the new strategy for making a living, wealth creation, abundance going forward. Opening a shop, I mean, it's a great thing to do, but that's probably, I buy a lot more stuff on the internet this year than I did last year, and last year, the year before. Things are moving away from the old models. And so, sticking in the old models, probably not a recipe for success for your families or yourself. Who knows? But the point is, there are new strategies, and we've identified these. We can show you how the new economic model works and how to be a winner, how to adopt the winning strategies and come out ahead, get on the front edge of this, and ride it and have abundance. And the vehicle is network marketing. It's the perfect vehicle when you think about it. Because Google, Facebook, they just give away stuff for free, don't they? They give away information. It's not even things. They just give away other people's information. That's pretty much what we do. We give away information. We don't sell this. If you wanted to get it from me, I don't have any to sell you. I don't take your money. I don't ship it. I don't do any of that. I basically tell people about this. I give them information. I say, hey, look, this has done this for me. I think you should try it. Tell him I sent you. And if he does, as I mentioned earlier, I get a little thank you check. How cool is that? And I can be anywhere in the world, and they're going to send me the thank you checks, no matter what I'm doing. This is the new economic paradigm. And the cool thing about it, unlike if you have a profession or if you have a job, if you stop working today, how much longer are you going to get paid? I mean, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe you got some severance, maybe you got a little something, but you're not going to be paid next year. Highly unlikely. Maybe not even next month. And is there a limit on the number of hours you can work? Probably. I mean, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a healthcare practitioner, maybe you're an employee, maybe, I don't know. But you can only work so many hours, and that is a cap on your earnings, isn't it? This has no cap, no ceiling. Unless you think, don't think that it's a get-rich-quick scheme, because it's not. It's not some sort of a unethical or illegal thing. It's not. It's just a different way to distribute goods and services, just like the internet is, right? The internet is just a different way to shop for a lot of people. There's other things too. The point is this: you can build a secure, solid income that is in sync with the new economy, with the new economic model, and have it last a lifetime. Have it actually grow. And have it be there for your children, your family, your charities, whatever it is you want to leave it to. This is the foundation of wealth creation now on the planet. Now, I'm not going to assume that all of you want to get fabulously wealthy. I mean, maybe you do, but I'm not going to assume that all of you are willing to work to have that. Here's what I know about this industry, though. It's $150 billion a year and growing dramatically. In this worldwide recession, this industry is growing dramatically, like hugely growing. Over 100 million people worldwide doing this. That's not a small number. I mean, New Zealand's 3 or 4 million people. Think about 100, even America's 300 million. It's like 100 million people are doing this. So it's not a small thing, and it's not going away. The industry is only about 50 years old, perfectly positioned for what's going on. Now, I mentioned earlier that my image of network marketing was a bunch of, senior citizens trying to sell each other soap. That's not the truth about the industry. That may have been true one day, but that's not the truth. The truth is now our fastest growing demographic are young people. Young people are piling in. You know why? Think about it. So let's say you're in your teens or 20s, and you go, well, what are my options? You see, I can go to uni, or I can go, get a professional education, and 4 years, maybe 5 years, 6 years, who knows? I'll come out with a lot of debt. And let me see, my peers who didn't do that are that much ahead, and I'm just, when I get out, I'm at the bottom of the ladder. And I've got all this debt, and I've got a lot of pressure, and I've got to do this. And I actually don't even know what I want to do, but I'm going to pick this thing and hope it all works out, right? Well, they look at this as an alternative. They go, well, gee, I could start this. I don't need any experience. I don't need a big CV. I don't need to be a certain age. I don't need certain language skills. I can be any gender. I can live wherever I want. There's no money to get involved. I don't even have to speak English as a first language or a second language. Let me see, in 4 years, instead of owing a bunch of money, I could be making really, really, really good money and get on with my life. Yeah, I think I'll choose that. And it's easy choice. We have young people, by the time they're in their mid-20s, are making, $30,000 a month. I mean, that's an extraordinary amount of money. Can you imagine I can only imagine what my life would have looked like if I was that age. It may not have turned out so good, who knows, but the point is, if I had a full-time income that I had created, even a couple $1,000s a month at that age, secure income that was going to grow because of my efforts, my life would have been very different. I would have had the freedom to perhaps travel or do independent study or work in the community or start a family. And as Christa said, be there for them. What is the sense? This is an old industrial revolution. So we get a job, and by the way, job's only been around 100, 150 years, right? New thing. I get a job, I have my family, I go to work so I can support the family, but I've got to put the kids in daycare so I can have the job, so I can pay for the daycare, so I can have the job, so I can pay for the daycare, so I can have the job, and I don't even know my kids. What sense does that make? It doesn't make much sense today. Maybe it made sense sometime, but it doesn't make sense now. My dad, one man, could have one job. He could support, there were 5 kids, a wife, a car, and a house. And he could do that. I don't think you can do that today. It takes 2 parents, and most people don't have 5 kids, and they're still not keeping up, right? So it's shifted. Folks, I don't know if you have any other good options, but I'll just say this. This is the best option I've seen. Imagine this. Imagine you say, okay, well, you know, at the beginning you said, we're not looking for some big commitment. That's fine. I'll try the products. I can try them for 3 months and get all my money back. I got nothing to lose here. You try the products. And they even do a fraction of what we're saying. You feel some benefit. And you go, well, this looks pretty good. Now let me try what else they said. So if I share it with a few people, let me try that. So you share it with somebody. And the first time I share it with Christa, I might say, well, Christa, you know, this product's pretty good. I think you get benefit. You order it there and tell them I sent you, and she does. The first time she might do it because I suggested it, like a good friend. But she's not going to buy it the second time unless she gets real value, right? It's all about her. The second time she buys it because she wants it. So I do that. I share it. I get this little check. I say, this is pretty cool. And I get another check, and I haven't even seen her, and I go, wow, this thing actually works. How about that? And then she starts sharing it with some of her friends, perhaps, to get her stuff for free, maybe, or to make some money. And it starts growing. And I still maybe got my job or my business, and I go, well, let me see. I think I'll put a little more energy in. As a matter of fact, that's what happened with us, didn't it? I was working in construction, doing, you know, that thing. And there weren't a lot of old guys on the job. They were young guys, because the old guys, they don't last on construction. It's toxic, it's hard, it's cold. Anyway, so I just shared it with a couple guys on the job. They shared it with their wives. And the wives started networking it. We started getting these checks. And I said, gosh, Christa, you know, I did very little and got these checks. I wonder if we put some time into it, we could really make something out of this. And we did. And the checks got bigger and bigger, and I got to leave that job, and the rest is history for us. Yeah.
One of the things for me that is so wonderful about what we do is it's community work. We build community, and I love that, because that's what it's all about for me. You know, that's one of the reasons that, we travel quite a bit, and that's one of the reasons that I love doing what we do, because I just get to be with my community, and we get to build the community and spread it and grow it, and we do it together. I know that when I was a healthcare practitioner, it was me. That was it. It was me, and I didn't have that support. But here, it's like, what Michael just mentioned about, if you know anybody who could benefit from this, it's not just, well, you go talk to them. It's like, how can we support you? How can we serve you? That is my job, to be of ultimate service to you. That's my job description. And that's what we're here for. And so we do it together. And that's what the world needs more of. I truly believe that. So we have just a couple more people. You want to come back up, Jessica?
Okay, so I just want to share, I'll get a couple more people up yet, to share some lifestyle stories so that you get a bit of a broader picture. So while I'm up here, I might as well share my one. So some of you know my story, some of you don't. So I started off my journey with Body Balance. I knew that there was a business aspect to it, but at the time my health was like rock bottom. I had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, chemical toxicity, a whole lot of stuff going on. So I was way down here. So my first priority was correcting my health. And while I knew the business side of it was there, I had no intention of doing that. I didn't have any negative things about it. I just didn't think I needed it. And so what I did was what most people do naturally. Once my health was back on track, I loved the product. I naturally shared it with a few people. Like Michael said, I got some checks turn up, and I'm like, huh? And then one day Manfred rings me up and congratulates me. I'd reached a certain rank in the business, and I had no idea I was even doing the business. And I just shared, because that's what you do. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool. And as I said, I came to Nelson knowing about 2 people, and I started to build relationships with people, and I thought, this is really nice. And I'd also created a few businesses in Nelson, so I ran my own successful businesses. But I found that there was a real downside to that, because firstly I had to show up, and if I didn't feel great, I still had to show up. And I thought, and then because I worked in the field of health and that sort of thing, that was my passion, knowing that I could stop people sort of falling off the cliff and, you know, doing dangerous things to their health. And I had to stock products to service people. We had products sitting on the shelf that all just sat there as money sitting on the shelf. And so all of those things started to become a lot more obvious to me, and the more I looked at this in comparison, it started to make so much more sense of what this actually offered. I could connect people to a phenomenal product that they would buy at wholesale, rather than me being a practitioner, adding money onto it and charging them extra and having them have to keep coming to me. I thought, this is way better. They buy it direct, I'm free. I'm there to personally coach them, and if I focus on that, I can really see a big impact on people's lives. And then what happened for, you know, me just doing that, purely caring about other people, my life changed. So I went from being sick, single mum, broke, and, you know, on a benefit, to now being financially independent. I have a rental property portfolio, all sorts. I travel many times a year, something I never thought actually possible when I was so sick. I do overseas trips several times a year. I've done heaps of cruises. I've got a fantastic life all through this, and I've got an amazing community of support. Michael and Christa, Manfred, amazing collection of positive-minded people that are making a difference in the world, and that to me is so valuable. So, you know, so that's my story. So now I want to invite up Paul Curnow, who's also a very successful business person in Nelson, to share his story briefly about the business. What's my
Okay, I'm Paul. I'll be quick. I'm all about the business. That's just the way it is. Christine, you've heard Christine's story. She's my wife. She dragged me kicking and screaming here 3 years ago. March 3 years ago, to listen to these guys. And listen, I'm a sales trainer, I'm a professional speaker, business coach, rah. I travel, I know loads of people. So you can imagine how many people have chased me and hassled me to get into this thing called network marketing over the years. In London, over here, and I've always thought, like you've heard from a load of people. So Christine came home and said, I saw the difference in the product, so I was almost buying into it, but then she said, there's a business here, come on, I want you to come to this conference. And I sat at the back, that was open, and I sat at the back listening to these two speaking, and I was like this, because I desperately wanted it to be the same as all this other stuff I'd heard about network marketing, with other names that you all know, but that will not be mentioned. And even after that, I left. I remember Michael coming up to speak to me at the end of it, because I don't know, and then, you know, he had the cream suit and he's got the American accent, he's going, hey Paul, and I was thinking, oh, leave me alone, please, get out of here. I did, seriously. And then I sat on the fence for 6 months, desperately trying to find a hole in it, because I knew that it's a crock. And then after 6 months, I thought, okay, I'll have another look. And even then I was going on, my story was, I'm only here because of my wife, it's her business, I'm just helping her out. Anyway, and then look, I found out eventually, I've loved my business, I always have loved what I do. But then the last couple of years, it started to go a bit of that, and I'm back to the JOB kind of thing. Do you know what JOB stands for? Just over broke. And I wouldn't say we're quite at that point, but then my business has gone like that, whereas it was going like that and that. In the last 2 years, I'm going, okay, so we're back to square one, aren't we? And so now I'm right into this. And the people that I only invite people I like. Because someone said to me, 2 years ago, someone said to me, don't invite people into this that you wouldn't have at your dinner table. And the people that I've invited here, this is really interesting, are all from my free sports and health foundation. Swimming, football, martial arts. I got into martial arts and I don't do the belts and stuff, it's basically just aerobic strip up with a 7th dan black belt, so you can imagine what that's like. But I got into that so I could still play football until I was 50, so I just about made that last year. And I used to be a swimming instructor, so that's all these people that have come, so I just invite people I like. But the business is going like this now. And as you've heard, in an economy that's going that way, we're going that way. And it's fun, it's just fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And those people that have been invited by Paul, I hope you feel special. He likes you. Okay, one more story. Manfred, can you come up and share your journey with Body Balance?
So, my story, I was a classical musician in Austria, and I know from here that sounds rather romantic. But from there it felt like a straitjacket to me, because my grandfather was the composer and the conductor, and I grew up in this jacket that didn't quite fit me, and it got tighter and tighter. So I was 26, I decided that my whole path was all laid out to retirement, and I looked at the old musicians, and I just needed some freedom. So I took a year off, took sabbatical leave, and to travel around the world and have a look what's out there. And I got halfway around, and this was as free as I have ever been, and there was no way after 6 months in New Zealand I was going to go back in that straitjacket. And so I slowly became more and more free, and I gave the musician away and became a gardener and just self-sufficiency, grow food, live in down the Buller Gorge on the west coast, on a piece of land that I didn't even own. You know, in Austria you stop somewhere where you don't own the land, after 3 days somebody will come and tell you to move on. Well, I lived there for 10 years, nobody told me to move on. So I started out a bit as a hermit, but then hermit is a lonely life. I did want a partner, I found a female hermit, so there was 2 of us. And then, you know, 8 years into the game of we're free, we're away from the world, we have no bills but no money, and I was the richest man on the planet because I could play the game without money. Cosmic choke happened. My wife was 47 and hormonally infertile all her life, so we had the freedom of, we won't have kids, we can do whatever we like. And with 47 she had this early menopause, and until that menopause was definitely moving, it was definitely menopause. And so that was, I call it a cosmic joke, because I thought I had it all together. And then the challenge was, what now? Bringing up a child. I mean, 2 adults can play whatever game they want to play, but is it fair on the child? And I knew we had about 2 years, because 2 years it's fine, but then she needs other children. And we need to get out of here. So when I looked at my qualifications and my security, what I've done in the past, that was a city lifestyle. And after 15 years of freedom and 10 years in the bush, going to the city being a musician, and that whole competitiveness of the professional musician paradigm and this lifestyle that comes with it, I couldn't go back there. So I just waited for something to show up that I can stay who I am now, stay at home with my little girl and see her grow up, be part of the family. I wasn't going to commute to a town, and I definitely didn't want to live in one. So I was just waiting for the right thing to come around, and after 2 years, just about 2 years, somebody introduced me to network marketing. And the way it was so beautiful, you know, like, I mean, I was not on anybody's list. Nobody wanted me on their dinner table. Nobody knew me. And this friend of a friend comes by, and we have this amazing conversation about the state of the world. And this person just had exactly the right story that I could connect to. And there was trust. There was no pushy, buy this or anything. In fact, I had to, after I decided to do this, I had to chase the guy for 2 weeks. Because he left me a phone number, and I didn't have a phone. The next civilization was 16 miles up the road where there was a phone. So I would walk up there, ring, get an answer phone. I hated answer phones. I couldn't leave a message. I couldn't say, well, ring me back or anything. I just had to keep walking 16 miles up the road. The guy isn't, no, he may have just been on the phone. I didn't know why an answer phone call. So it was hard work for me to actually sign up. I had to make the guy come and meet me in Murchison so I could join network marketing. By that time I was so ready, I was so passionate. You know, there's a whole long story of how I got started and how I had to borrow money. I didn't have any money. So from coming out of the bush with 42, with no assets, no inheritance waiting, and basically zero. I had no bank account, I had no tax number, I was free. And I wanted to stay free. I didn't want to be poor, I didn't want to be on a benefit. And the main thing was, I grew up with a single mom, and the main thing I always heard when I said, I want this, I want that, was we can't afford this, we can't afford that. So my goal, and I had lots of friends who had lots of children. I mean, those people 16 miles up the road, 3 single moms, 13 kids. If I wanted entertainment, it was a short walk and there was entertainment. There was drama, right? And the drama was usually around money. And so I didn't want to end up in that corner where I have to say, no, we can't afford this. So my goal was, I never want to have to say we can't afford this. Well, my daughter is now 16 years, you can ask her if I ever said we can't afford this. I got her to that stage where she wanted the umpteenth bra, and she's on her computer saying, oh, Dad, can I have this corset or whatever it's called? And I just give her my credit card. And she said to me, Dad, you know, you don't have to buy it just because I want it. So I got it the other way around. So, yeah, I'm here now 56. I have an amazing property in Golden Bay, freehold. I don't owe anybody anything. And the only way I could get to money was by helping people get to money. And the beautiful thing is they got their health, right? So the connection, I was totally passionate about the products to start with. And what I saw was amazing changes in our own bodies, even though we've eaten organic food for, well, 15 years for me at the time. My wife grew up on organic food in New Zealand. So the product made a huge difference to us and to all those people we got on the product. And I love that, and I still love that. But the difference I've seen when people make extra money, it's huge. I'm more passionate about setting somebody free from the benefit. Now, when people actually take that straitjacket off and there's freedom, money is not the most important thing, but it's right up there with oxygen, because it makes a difference every decision you make, right? So when people can breathe and unfold and they have more choices, and especially single moms with 3 and 4 children, and I have a lot of those that I got to that place where they're free, they can travel, they can see their grandkids in Australia and all those stories. That's really touched me the most. And this business is based on one principle, you know, there's this thing called win-win. Well, I can only win if I can help you win. And there's no loser, because everybody got 3 months to stick their little toe in, check out the products, check out the support. You know, I've heard stories from other people in network marketing that say the guy was all really nice until I signed on the dotted line, and then he lost my phone number and his answer phone was obviously not working. Well, when you got 3 months being nice until you sign up, and then keeping you by it for 3 months, no, or when you join as the business and we say we've got this amazing supportive community, well, if we can't show you that in 3 months, you go, well, that was all just words. It's not really like that. So our whole effort is to show you in those 3 months that all this is real and it can be real for you. And if it's not, and if it's not the right thing, you get your money back and do something else. So there's no quick talk you into something, sign up on the way out, or anything like that here. It's an offer, a genuine offer to change your life for the better if that's what you want. And if you're already happy, that's great. You know, we love having happy, healthy, and abundant people to play with. So thank you.
Thank you, Manfred. So what we're going to do now is, before I officially close that, we're going to do a mix and mingle, and I'll mix up some samples, and those of you who want to either try Body Balance, the Be Lean or the Be Full, you're welcome to. We'll bring it out round, so just feel free to mix and mingle. So you've got some opportunities there, you've heard the information. You might want to start with Body Balance, give it a go like Manfred said. You've got 3 months to try it out. We've got the Be Lean coming, you've got the opportunity to participate in getting your products free with the Got My 3, it's a bit of a tongue twister. Or you've got the opportunity to bring in, you know, a couple of $100 a month, a couple of thousand, whatever you want to do, you've got that opportunity. So if any of that spoke to you and you want to know a bit more, feel free to just, you know, approach anybody, whoever invited you, get them to introduce you to Michael and Christa if you've not yet met them, or Manfred. Got a lot of experience in the room, so thank you all for your attention. Do try some of the products shortly. Feel free to stand up and stretch, and yeah, ask any questions. So thank you all.